Hi everyone, I'm here today with Victoria, and I would love to ask you a few questions, Victoria, because you joined the Coaching Accelerator a couple of months ago, I think. And yeah, I would love to share more about your process, your niche, the results that you've gotten. So can you tell us first what exactly you do as a coach now?
I am a weight loss coach for women over 50, and sort of my thought is diets. My experience is diets don't work, and because they're not sustainable. So I teach women how to actually reduce their weight without being on a diet.
Yeah. Can you briefly describe your method? Because I think it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it's called the Weight Loss Success Formulas, featuring 31 sneaky ways to reduce weight without a diet. So every day I give the women a new tip to do. So it's kind of fun. They never know what's going to come next, right? It's like just for today. And that's the coolest part is I say, just for today, do this thing, whatever the thing is. And I don't tell them until the day of. And then also then there's in the coaching, then I do the mindset part where I basically lead them to believe in themselves, right? I hold the belief for them until they go, wow, she's right. I can do this. This is easy. This is working, right? Because it's easy stuff. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. And you decided to join the Coaching Accelerator. Where were you at exactly before you joined us? What was what did you need help with at that moment?
Well, I had been doing online for about a year when I found you. And so at that point, I had done a beta launch of my program because I wanted to see, does it work? Does it work for other people than me? I had done it with some friends, and then I wanted to do it, with some actual, people I didn't know, right? And so I did that, and that went well. And from that beta launch, I ended up with there was 12 women in the beta launch, and I ended up with 4 clients out of that. So, but it was a 6-month program, and it was very, very inexpensive, very inexpensive. So it was really challenging from me, what I discovered from listening to you, right? I didn't know until I heard you, is if they don't buy in, the buy-in was so low that they just, oh, I can't show up today. So it'd be like I'd have a meeting and, 2 of them wouldn't be there, 2 out of the 4. So I realized then they have to invest in themselves. And I got that from you. That made perfect sense to me. So that is where I was. So when I started seeing you, I'm like, okay, I think this woman's got onto something here. So that's how I started following you more.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And so that was your big motivation to join the program. And you mentioned the price increase, right? So that your ideal client is more invested, not only financially, but also emotionally. Were there some more things that you needed help with?
Yes, absolutely. Everything, right? My niche, my title was aging well with a healthy lifestyle. And so it wasn't working. It was just off somehow. And I knew that, but I didn't know how to fix that. I didn't know what it should be. So, because that's really the base of why I do what I do, is because I want everyone to age well and be healthy. But, that wasn't attracting the kind of people I wanted. So I was actually getting women in my group, but they weren't active. So it was very inactive, even though I was just like getting people in there, but it was me working all the time to make that happen. So
Yeah. And do you want to share some results that you now have, like after having joined the Coaching Accelerator, working with me?
Okay. Here's the fun part, right? I love this, Nikki. I love it. So what's happened is you instantly said, you've got to change the title of your group. That's not going to work. And you told me why, and it made perfect sense to me. So we changed it to weight loss formula, right? We changed it to weight loss for women over 50 and then live healthy and have a healthy life. So we kept some of my title, but we started it with weight loss because that was what my whole program was that I developed. So we had the switch. Then you said, okay, you've got to I'm like, these women aren't active. And you're like, okay, we got to reboot your group. So you told me how to reboot the group. I'm like, okay, she's telling me to kick people out of here. That sounds kind of scary. But it worked out to my favor because then women were more active that were in the group, right? Well, then women started coming to the group. So what happened, you're going to love this. I ended up with my first high ticket sale within 2 weeks of joining the program.
Insane.
I had my first. I know. And here's the best part. They called me. They sent me a note and said, I want in.
Yeah.
Because it had taught me, right, how to do post better. And so it was real clear what I did. And because of that, people started contacting me. Since then, I've had 3 different women contact without me soliciting at all, just me doing my post in that way. 3 women have contacted me and said, can we talk? Can we work together? Right. And then of course you also taught me, you know, how to do it the other way. But the fact is, I'm not even having to work for these things. They're just happening. So I've grown the group, I've grown my profile. And the really cool thing I want to share is I did a reel and it's got over 8,000 views. Now that is not viral, but that's the most views I've ever had. But the cool thing is that so now Facebook tells people to come to my group. Yeah. So I am not having to work that hard, and I learned all that from you. So you have made, I mean, I am on fire, having such a great time and having good results as well. So thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and I think like everything that is happening for you now, that things are like exploding, you're real, and that you're reaching so many women. And the other day you told me that there were like hundreds of women that wanted to join like your group, right? It's insane. But what I think is the cause of that is that now you really found like what they need to hear and what you are communicating. And that is like making things explode, right?
So, and the best thing about that is honestly, you lead us in the coaching accelerator. We have our modules, you know, that we go through. So we learn different things all the time, but we have our weekly meetings. And in every meeting, you're like, okay, try this, do this. And you give us these literal, you know, like blueprints, right? It's like, here you go, fill it in. And then you're like, send it to me. I want to be sure it looks like it's going to do something out there. And so I absolutely love that piece too. It's like, there's so much going on with behind the scenes with what you do. You know, it's just hard to, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to do that. And then it just always nets some result. So I can't thank you enough. I am thrilled to be in the program. I love it. I tell everybody, you got to do this.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I have one more question, Victoria. I'm almost getting emotional, but I have one more question. If you were to say something to someone that is on the fence about working with us, about joining the Coaching Accelerator, what would you tell them?
Now I've got chill bumps. It'll transform your life. Nikki, honestly, it'll transform their lives. Even if they don't get their first sale in the first couple of weeks, if it takes longer, it doesn't matter because we're learning the process on how to actually find our ideal clients, how to serve that ideal client in the best possible way. And we don't need 100 people to do it. Like, you know, I was sharing earlier, I have a client that I love who I'm watching her life transform. And the first thing I thought when she wrote me a note and said, thank you, you're changing my life. I thought, thank you, Nikki. Yeah. You know, because that's what's happening. So for them, honestly, friends, if you're on the fence, invest in yourself, just take this risk and just go for it full out and just see what happens next.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you, Victoria.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad to do it, Nikki. I'm so glad I found you, right? You do for us. It's wonderful. It has really improved my life a lot.